More and more Russian-speaking Ukrainians are switching to the state language at home and outside. According to a survey by the Kyiv International Institute of Sociology, 41% of respondents speak Ukrainian only, another 17% communicate in Ukrainian in most situations, and 24% speak equally in Ukrainian and Russian.
In 2022, 80% were in favor of predominantly Ukrainian speaking, and only 15% were in favor of bilingualism. The prevalence of Ukrainian language in all spheres is supported even by the majority of residents of the east and south of the country, 66%, and Russian speakers, 57%. That is, people who themselves mainly speak Russian, so far, also believe that Ukrainian should dominate. Vladimir Kilyuk, Doctor of Political Science.
Ukrainians began to refuse Russian content as early as 2014, but after the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, many more people wanted to eliminate any manifestation of the Russian world. People have stopped watching Russian TV series and shows, listening to Russian music, and have been actively unsubscribing from Russian bloggers and stars.
If we talk specifically about numbers, then as of August, when we conducted the survey, we saw that about 2/3 didn't watch Russian TV shows, and only 23% of them up to February 24th. That is an increase of almost 3 times. As for music, the tendency is bright here, but the numbers are slightly smaller. About half do not listen to Russian music.
8 years ago, the Russian Federation occupied the predominantly Russian-speaking Crimea and a part of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions under the pretext of protecting the interests of Russian speakers. Instead, it brought torture and execution of the local population, repression, total censorship, illegal deportation, shelling, militarization, and the collapse of the economy of the once prosperous regions. And after the start of a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, it also brought forcible mobilization of the inhabitants of the temporarily occupied territories into the Russian army and illegal armed formations. The Russian Federation's military has destroyed cities and villages in which people mostly speak Russian. Mariupol, Bakhmut, Soledar. This is only a tiny part of this terrible list. The shelling of peaceful houses in Kharkiv, Zaporizhia and Dnipro, where people speak 2 languages, continues, and people curse Putin and his army in Russian language too. What have you done to my son? Scoundrels! I curse you until the 7th generation. May you be cursed for all your life, by everyone, by me, and by all mothers' tears. The culture of canceling everything Russian has become a general trend throughout the civilized world. Russia is toxic. Both politicians and ordinary citizens want nothing to do with an aggressive, authoritarian terrorist state. And the famous American historian Timothy Snyder believes that the Russian Federation invaded Ukraine to limit the freedom of Russian-speaking Ukrainians. In his opinion, the exchange of views in a language understandable to both sides, Russian, was a problem for Russia itself. Indeed, in the Russian Federation, people are forbidden to speak freely. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Vlada Tsurkan, UATV News.